Hello everybody and welcome back to Law Hero. This is the last FE1 review for November 2020. I am so happy. I'm very happy because a lot of people passed these exams. The people who came to me who failed by roughly 8 or 9%, so we'll say they're getting between, like, usually worst case scenario 36-37%, and they're between that and 46-47%, and usually they're getting 9s and 8s for most of them, but then they'll get 2s or 3s for some of them where they give too much information. Like, a lot of the time it's not lack of information, so get your information nice and distilled and be able to concisely answer your questions. That really is the key to passing the FE1. As I said, usually people know the right answer. That's not the issue. Okay, so let's go through EU law for November 2020, and away we go. So the first question was, how has the status of human rights within the EU legal order changed since the foundation of the EEC in the 1950s? So you'd need case law, treaty developments, and EU legislative initiatives that have played a role. So that would have required a very in-depth knowledge of human rights in the EU. I mean, there's a whole college course on it. I would not have recommended doing that essay. I wouldn't have done it myself. Indeed, in my ebook, I only have a short part on human rights and the Charter and how it's, in Irish law, 2003 Act. But aside from that, yeah, the development of the EU, I don't find it, well, it's grand, like it's interesting, but from the FE1 perspective, I don't think it's that important. I would implore upon you to focus on the institutions in themselves and how they interact and how Lisbon has impacted the institutions. But yeah, this question I wouldn't have done it myself. If you're into human rights law and you knew a lot about it, it would have been completely up your street. So question 2 was, I can already see the word directive, so I can already imagine what's going to come. It's probably direct effect, but we'll see. So it's a fictional directive. It's about outdoor events, considered an outdoor event, and having a license and how many people you can have at the event. There's certain noise levels, security, people will be working there, and the directive was supposed to be brought into force by March 2018. Prior to the introduction of this directive, maximum permitted noise levels for concerts in Ireland was set out in the 94 Act, which is fictional. This act allowed for exposure to a maximum noise level of 125 decibels for a continuous period of 6 hours. Both the directive and the act obliged the organisers to maintain records of the noise levels. Sorry, it's just funny. So at this time we had this many decibels. Like, if I was doing this exam, I would be laughing. Recorded during these events for 5 years. Oh my god. So Brian was employed, it is fictional, Brian was employed on a part-time basis as a security guard between January 2017 and 2019. Oh, I bet you something happens to Brian. Yeah, he gets tinnitus. Tinnitus? Okay, so basically, I bet you that Ireland didn't impose the directive when they should have, and Brian's annoyed. Okay, so you go through your direct effect stuff and how he's affected, and yeah, that's actually pretty fine. And so you need to tell him what his remedies are under EU law against both the concert organizer and or the state. So remember, emanations of the state and all of that. The second part was a essay about Palati v Slovenia and equivalence and practical possibility, so that was fine as well. Question 3, NACE natural foods. I guess this is something to do with freedom of movement of goods. probably is. Let's just have a look down through it. They don't want to package their food because they're supposed to be a zero waste food company. So they've been talking to their supplier about this predicament, blah, blah, blah. The way the Irish government effectively, yeah, okay, so this is around Article 34 and Article 34, 36. So remember that public health is an exception. So yeah, so you go down your Dassonville and all of that, and then you talk about the public health exception under freedom movement of goods. Question 4, so Rita is a 28-year-old Belgian national, so we already know this is freedom of movement of people. She moved to Ireland, so that's a EU person within EU, so it's fine, there's no third country stuff here. She's come to Ireland. Okay, so this is around the Irish language exam. There's lots of case law around that under my chapter on freedom of movement of people, and around teachers specifically. Question 5 is a lovely essay question around UPA v the Council and Advocate General Jacobs' individual concern thing that he says in there. So that's obviously preliminary reference in Article 263. If you go to my ebook, you will find a lot on that there. Oh look, there was an institutions question at question 6. So yeah, as I said, if you go to my first chapter of my ebook, you'll have all of that there. Question 7 is the case law question. I advise against that, but looks like Pringle v Government of Ireland come up. What else do we know? Association Belge, Berschiani came up. Oh, Grundig came up as well. And Watts v Bedford. So yeah, there was a few there. So this person I'm looking at did Pringle, which all of you should know. It's a TD who he was questioning the European Stability Mechanism at the time. Association de Belges. A lot of people would have known that one too. But anyway, look, I disagree on doing that question, and like it is difficult because you have to do 3 of them. But if you knew them, you probably passed the question. Okay, and then the final question, I can guess it's a competition law one, and yes, it is. So it's about the 2014 white paper around EU merger control. And yeah, if you go to my ebook on chapter 8, I believe, on EU competition law, you'll see it there. And this is about the merger regulations and merger policy, and basically you have to talk about it right up until regulation 139/2004. All of that is outlined in my ebook. So yeah, I mean, I think that EU paper was particularly a good one. Again, just like criminal, nobody came to me who failed it. Most people seem to fail equity, contract and company from the people I've seen, but again, I had no one come to me for EU, which is a good thing, and I guess people are really passing it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this FE1 series. I won't be doing another one until, I guess, probably July, when we get the papers, when you guys send me the papers, and when I review what was asked in March. But as you know, March is online again, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've been doing this now for 2 years, and yeah, it shocks me how the papers never ever change, and how the questions people ask me are always the same. Do I have too little information? Do I have too much information? What topics do I need to study? And I always answer the same questions the same. The topics I have in my ebook will cover you. So thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, because I do other stuff that will help your legal career, like how to get a training contract, how to talk and impress in interviews, and then I look also at other subjects which will be relevant to you in your career. So yeah, best of luck if you're sitting the exam, and stay in touch. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe here, and I'll see you all again in the next